experience,
This car is nice.
gully, naivete.
That's probably good, Bran.
3 qualities of youth that can lead to some very bad choices. Montgomery, Texas. Brandon Oliver's high school Spanish project starts innocently enough.
I had to make a video to a Hispanic song, and the only song I knew of was Gasolina. So my dad started filming me doing backflips and just a bunch of random stuff.
But this hip-hop take on Gasolina will go up in flames.
I decided that we'd film me dancing around a pile of wood, pouring gasoline, and dancing around a fire.
To build his pyrotechnic finale, Brandon douses his landscaping waste with fuel. Several gallons, in fact.
That's probably good, Bran.
I didn't realize the gasoline was explosive.
But this Spanish project is about to become a lesson in fire safety.
It burned!
Brandon tries igniting the woodpile with a lighter.
And I leaned in to light it, and I just remember a flash of like red light.
The teen recoils as his hair is torched.
It burned! It burned! It burned!
I panicked. I freaked out. He was rolling around on the grass.
It burned! Where?
It's not a pleasant sight seeing your son burning on the ground.
I was in extreme pain, and I was actually pretty scared.
Brandon will recover from what he now realizes was a bad idea from the start.
I didn't have any third-degree burns, and so that was a relief.
I'm not sure what stupidity overcame us at the time. It's kind of dumb what we did. Hopefully other people will be able to learn from our mistake and not make the same one.
Thankfully, Brandon wasn't scarred for life after Gasolina turned into Disco Inferno.
It burned! It burned!
In Scotts, Arizona, a teenager is to impress his friend. In an incredible display of stupidity, he actually has to change car at 40 an hour. Dangerous stunt is up. The so cocky casually keeps his smoke in his mouth as straddles the gap. The first car inches forward. His foot slips. Miraculously, he gets to his feet and walks away. Barely dodged a slew of tires. But what's his biggest concern after surviving this deadly stunt?
Lost me page. You did? Yes, I'm.
You're probably right in the street. Come on, let me see your head, dude.
Hopefully this dude will still get the message. Hijinks can lead to roadkill. Bellevue, Washington. It's a hidden camera catching a budding young thief in action. But this entry-level criminal is about to play You Bet Your Life. The crook takes off. A more seasoned bandit might have realized this is a bait car. By now, cops have been alerted and are on their way. He keeps a wary eye on his tail and suddenly finds himself lost.
This suspect has driven down a dead end, and in my opinion, if you're going to steal cars, you should at least know the area you're in so you don't trap yourself.
By the time he doubles back, motorcycle officer Kurt Rasko is closing in. And that's when things turn deadly.
I turned hard left just to try to escape from being rammed, and I actually braced myself for the collision.
The near miss prompts a call to shut down the car remotely. But another motorcycle cop is already in the crosshairs, and he's prepared to use deadly force. Bullets rip through the cab. One grazing the fledgling fugitive across the scalp.
You can see where the bullet enters the car, passes the suspect, rebounds off the windshield, and then goes along the edge of his head.
The driver is dumbfounded and in excruciating pain.
He started crying, and you could read his lips saying, "Getting shot me."
Seconds later, the car's engine dies and the doors are locked, sealing his fate. When officers approach, he's all too eager to surrender. It's discovered that this hot rod hooligan had just gotten out of jail 6 weeks earlier. He thought doing hard time prepared him for the big leagues.
The person who stole his car that day probably wasn't the smartest of most car thieves I've seen in my career.
Apparently, he just wouldn't learn until it was beaten into his head. Tarpon Springs, Florida.
That car right here?
Dad's just his classic 1965 Mustang
This engine's so badass, it's ridiculous.
for the only thing a motorhead could want more.
Rolled up, yo.
A brand new Mustang.
This car nice.
Dad, can I have the keys?
Dad figures there's no harm in letting his 14-year-old son sit behind the wheel. But he's wrong. Overly excited, the kid accidentally starts the car in gear. The 500 horsepower Roadster hammers a hole through the garage. Needless to say, Dad's in shock. His son isn't hurt, but repairs to his pride and joy will cost around $5 grand. Maybe next time he'll think twice before he lets Junior borrow the keys.
Still to come, drunk students get nailed for turning a day of outdoor antics into a beer-soaked battlefield. And a group of high schoolers serve up some trash talk with a side of punch. Then, later in the penalty box, naive partygoers play with fire and get burned. On Most Daring, Young and Dangerous.